After undergoing dental surgery and skin reduction, Tammy Slaton stunned fans with her unbelievable results. View over 30 pictures of her incredible makeover. The 1,000-pound sisters actress came out in 2025 looking happier, healthier, and more self-assured than ever after years of battles with her weight and appearance. Through her tale, audiences learned about Tammy Slaton's struggles with obesity, health issues, and day-to-day living while she was at her highest weight. Fans have been astounded and motivated by her incredible metamorphosis over the years, which has included significant operations and significant life achievements. The popular TLC series 1,000-Pound Sisters, which chronicled Slaton and her sisters' candid and frequently tragic weight loss adventures, exposed the world to Slaton. Viewers were captivated by Slaton's raw personality, witty repartee, and open battle with food addiction and mobility from the first episode. Weight has always been a problem for me. Slaton reflected on a lifelong struggle that had gotten out of hand in 2023, saying, "I was born 9 pounds, 10 ounces, and then I just kept gaining." She weighed an incredible 725 pounds at her heaviest, and she needed oxygen support and mobility aids to survive each day. Early images from the series depict Slaton clearly laboring under the weight of her body, with her posture impaired by the size of her body and her face seeming puffy. Everything changed in July 2022 when Slaton had weight loss surgery and lost an incredible 440 pounds. She now weighs 285 pounds, having not only altered physically but also chosen a lifestyle that many had believed was unattainable only a few years before. "I had many inner demons that I had to battle, and I'm still doing so," she said. "It's not a diet. They say it's a lifetime change. It really is." But Slaton's makeover, which was shared on Facebook and Instagram, went beyond just losing weight. She achieved a new milestone by having superfluous skin removed in early 2025, having reduced almost 500 pounds overall. "I was just ecstatic when I was finally approved for surgery after 6 years and losing more than 500 pounds, she said. "This is the result of a lot of hard work on my part. I think it was evident from my expression how startled and then ecstatic I felt right away." Plastic surgeon Dr. J. Peter Rubin of the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center performed the treatment on Slaton, who came to Pittsburgh for it on January 18th. The goal of the 8-hour procedure was to remove loose skin from her arms, lower abdomen, and chin, which had changed significantly as the weight dropped. More than 15 pounds of extra skin were removed by the surgeons in total. Slaton, who always finds comedy in a crisis, made a joke about her surgeon's name, stating, "The only thing I could think of was the sandwich." Social media was flooded with compliments for Slaton after her operation, as admirers continued to show their appreciation for her confidence, strength, and advancement. One internet user commented, "Tammy, you should be really proud of yourself for how far you have come, both emotionally and physically. There's a light in those eyes now. Keep thriving." "Absolutely loving this era of Tammy," exclaimed another fan, while others were similarly astounded by her metamorphosis. One comment read, "Unbelievable Tammy. You're a true legend," while another said, "Well done, looking fantastic, sick." The sentiment was constant, even in brief, passionate outbursts. One user commented, "You look absolutely fabulous," and added, "Congratulations on your weight loss. Good luck to things better coming for you." But 1,000 pounds. After obtaining new teeth, Tammy Slaton of Sisters addresses critics. 1,000 pounds. 2 months after undergoing skin removal surgery, Sisters star Tammy Slaton disclosed the reason behind her most recent cosmetic procedure to straighten her teeth. Tammy Slaton's most recent cosmetic surgery will silence her detractors. The 1,000 pounds. After having a bridge put in, the Sisters star recently showed off her new teeth. The creator of the Fat Boy app acknowledged that the work was done just for her, but it was also a smart method to silence the critics. In response to the previous discussion about her smile, Tammy joked on the Creative Chaos podcast on August 19th, "Well, some of them," adding, "Haters make me famous." In fact, Tammy, 39, filled in the gaps in her teeth and restored the ones that had fallen out. Her smile improvement is still being worked on. Regarding the operation, she remarked, they're still temporary. The adhesive wasn't holding, so they had to cement them in. It was being rejected by my body. It's a bridge, and they had to extract teeth. I continue to accomplish more. It's a procedure. Tammy claims that her voice has somewhat changed as a result of the bridge, which is a prosthetic tooth that is fixed to nearby natural teeth to fill in the space in a person's grin. She revealed, I now lisp. It will eventually disappear. The only reason I can think my voice might have changed is because I'm happier, she continued. 2 months after undergoing skin removal surgery in June after shedding more than 500 pounds, Tammy now has a more attractive grin. The TLC diva hasn't held back in criticizing people who make comments about her appearance, including those who encouraged her to fix your teeth, despite her improvement. In a TikTok video from January 2024, Tammy stated, with all due respect, I wish people like you would stop commenting crap like this. She claimed that it was hurting her confidence. I was trying to maintain my confidence, and it doesn't help to hear remarks about my teeth or chin. Tammy revealed at the time that improving her smile wasn't a quick or inexpensive solution. She went on, I'm working to improve myself and my life. We ought to be encouraging others. The fact that I am toothless is irrelevant. It's sad, Tammy continued. Why harbor hatred? But with her dramatic weight loss journey and the ups and downs of raising her 2 young boys, Amy Slaton's life had changed dramatically over the past few years, but one thing remained in the back of her mind every time she looked in the mirror: her loose skin. After losing so much weight, her reflection no longer matched the confidence she felt on the inside. Amy decided it was time to take the next step one bright afternoon and scheduled a consultation for plastic surgery in Louisville, Kentucky. The journey there was quiet, and Amy fiddled nervously with her hands while sitting in the passenger seat with her sister Tammy riding along for support. Amy trembled as she muttered, I don't know, Tammy. What if they say I'm not ready for it? What if it's too risky? Amy, you've come so far. You deserve to feel good in your own skin. Literally. Don't doubt yourself now, said Tammy, who had been on her own health path, turning to her sister with a rare tenderness. The clinic's contemporary glass doors were intimidating when they arrived, and the waiting area was immaculate, with a subtle scent of lavender and antiseptic. Amy checked in, and soon a nurse led her back, and the doctor, Dr. Harper, a kind and competent woman, smiled at her. I've read about your weight loss journey, Amy. Congratulations. That's no minor accomplishment. Now, tell me what's bothering you the most. Dr. Harper started by looking through her medical chart. It's all this extra skin. My stomach, too. It makes me feel like no matter how hard I worked, I'm still trapped in the old me, Amy said, swallowing forcefully and tugging at the loose skin on her arms. We can definitely help with procedures like a tummy tuck, arm lift, or even a breast lift, but we need to go step by step. First, we'll check your health. Make sure you're stable for surgery, and then we'll plan what can be done safely, said Dr. Harper with a sympathetic nod. That's very common after significant weight loss. Will it hurt? I mean, I know it will, but I'm scared of going under again. Amy bit her lip as she listened intently, feeling overwhelmed by the sheer number of alternatives and hazards. It's normal to feel scared, but the good news is that you're already healthier than you've ever been thanks to your progress. If we continue, this could change your confidence forever, the doctor said, leaning forward. Tammy was waiting with curious eyes when Amy left the consultation room. So, what they say? She asked. I just need to do a few more health checks, but, Tammy, for the first time, I feel like this chapter of my life could really close. Like I can finally move on from the old Amy, Amy stated, letting out a slow exhale. Tammy smiled and surprised her sister by embracing her, saying, You had better do it, because you've been waiting for this moment your entire life. Amy felt lighter as they left the clinic, not just because she had lost weight, but also because, for the first time, she could envision a future in which her body would fit the woman she had worked so hard to become. Healing, closure, and at last feeling entire again were the main goals of this consultation, which went beyond plastic surgery. But for months, Amy Slaton had been dreaming of a new beginning. After everything she had experienced, including her health issues, her ups and downs with Michael, raising two young boys, and helping Tammy lose weight, she felt it was time for a change. Her small home, while full of memories, was getting too small, and she decided she wanted to buy a new home because of the toys strewn all over the living room, the mountain of baby clothes, and her need for privacy. While rocking little Glenn to sleep one evening, she noticed the peeling paint and cracks in the walls of her former house and thought, "My babies deserve more." She whispered to herself, "They deserve a kitchen where Mama can cook without constantly bumping into the refrigerator, a backyard to play in, and spacious bedrooms." Amy and Tammy sat down at the kitchen table the following morning, and when Amy brought up the topic, Tammy, who was drinking coffee and looking through her phone, arched an eyebrow. With caution, Amy started, "So, I've been thinking. I want to buy a new house. Somewhere bigger. Safer. Maybe even nicer too." "Girl, are you sure you're ready for that? A house isn't just walls and windows. It's bills, repairs, everything. You already have two boys running wild," Tammy said, smirking as she leaned back in her chair. "I understand, Tammy, but this isn't about me. It's about Gage and Glenn. They need a place to run in the yard instead of being cooped up inside," Amy said, rolling her eyes. "I get it. Honestly, you better invite me over if you find a house with a pool. I'll float all day long," Tammy said with a slow, unexpectedly encouraging nod. Later that day, Amy contacted Chris, who, ever the pragmatic one, assured her that he would assist her in her quest, saying, "I'll go with you to look at some places," but cautioned her against falling for the pretentious real estate agent's charms and purchasing anything that she couldn't afford. Amy looked at a number of homes over the course of the following few weeks, but some were too small, some too pricey, and some just didn't feel right. Eventually, one Saturday afternoon, she discovered it. A comfortable three-bedroom home on the outskirts of town with a large backyard that was ideal for the boys, a modern kitchen with sleek counters, and a playroom upstairs. As she passed inside, Amy's eyes welled up with tears. "This is it," she said, grasping Glenn's small hand as Gage hurried from room to room, yelling, "This is my room." But it wasn't an easy journey. Amy struggled with doubts about whether she could manage this alone, and whether the house payments would be too much. At one point, she considered giving up, but Tammy reminded her of her progress, saying, "Amy, you're stronger than you think. You've been through worse. Don't let fear stop you now." Amy finally signed the paperwork after weeks of waiting and tension, and the house was hers. The entire family helped on moving day, even Tammy, who watched from a lawn chair. Furniture was set up, boxes were carried in, and laughing filled the air. Amy felt calm for the first time in a long time as she watched her boys chase fireflies in the yard that evening while sitting on her new porch swing. "This is the start of something new," she thought cheerfully. As the sun began to set, Amy came to the realization that she had not only purchased a home but had also built a new one for her family, one that was filled with love, hope, and new beginnings. But although Amy had been her sister's primary caregiver for years, she knew that juggling her own children, home, and personal life made it nearly impossible to provide Tammy with the round-the-clock care she deserved. The Slaton household had been buzzing with anxious energy for days, and after Tammy's recent health struggles and her ongoing journey toward independence, the family decided it was finally time to hire a full-time nurse. Amy, ever the comic relief, had taken on the role of security, joking that he'd weed out the quacks. Amanda sat off to the side, arms crossed, her keen eyes ready to assess every candidate. Tammy, of course, was front and center in her recliner, a mix of excitement and nerves written across her face. The living room was turned into an impromptu interview space on a bright Kentucky morning. Amy set up a folding table with a notebook and pen, determined to make the process feel official. "Well, hey there, Tammy. I've seen y'all on TV, and I just want to say, you're looking amazing," said Nurse Linda, the first candidate, as she entered the room beaming. With a bashful smile, Tammy said, "Thank you. So, you've worked with people recovering from weight loss surgery before, right?" Amy inquired, immediately realizing that Linda didn't have much expertise with bariatric patients despite her vivacious personality, filling the room. Not exactly, but I've babysat my cousins who were a little on the heavier side, Linda said hesitantly. Amanda murmured, "This ain't daycare." And Chris almost spat out his sweet tea laughing. Needless to say, Linda didn't advance to the following round. When Tammy asked if he would be comfortable watching TV and talking to her occasionally, Brad, the second nurse, a stern-looking man with a clipboard and glasses on the tip of his nose, responded flatly, "That would not be part of my medical duties." His resume was impressive, and his answers were professional, but he treated Tammy more like a checklist than a human being. "He is boring, and I don't like him," Tammy murmured to Amy. "I want you to know, this is about your journey, not just your health. I'll be here to help you with medication, mobility, and diet, but I'll also be here when you need a friend." By the time the third candidate arrived, the family was already worn out. Nurse Jackie, a woman in her 40s with a warm demeanor and a kind face, knelt down by Tammy's chair and looked her in the eye. Tammy smiled more broadly than she had all morning when that hit home. "Do you like reality TV?" she inquired warily. "I've been watching 1,000-Pound Sisters since season 1, and I already feel like I know y'all," Jackie said with a laugh. Amy glanced at Chris and Amanda, and they all agreed that Jackie was the perfect fit, having the credentials and the warmth Tammy needed. "I feel like this is a step in the right direction," she said quietly, "and I'm scared, but also excited. Having Jackie means I can focus more on me, without worrying that Amy's stressing herself out." By the end of the day, the family had crowded around Tammy, who was smiling with relief. Amy placed her arm around her and said, "Girl, you deserve this. We're always going to be here for you, but now you're going to have someone in your corner full-time." There was a change in the air as the camera crew packed up for the night. Tammy taking charge of her future was symbolized by hiring a nurse, which went beyond simply providing medical assistance. The entire family also dared to envision better, healthier days ahead for the first time in a long time. But even though Amy Slaton loved being a mother, she had been experiencing the physical and emotional strain of motherhood after having 2 young boys, Gage and Glenn. Her life was full of sleepless nights, constant diaper changes, and chasing after toddlers. She also noticed that her energy was declining and that her body wasn't keeping up with her hectic schedule. Amy initially chuckled when she saw a leaflet for a nearby workout class for moms one afternoon while browsing through her phone. The advertisement promised soft exercises, a nurturing setting, and even babysitting for the kids. She joked to Tammy on the phone, "Girl, I ain't about to be out here doing push-ups and burpees with all these skinny moms." But Tammy urged her to try it, saying, "Amy, you always say you want to get healthier for them boys. Plus, you won't be the only mama there. This might be exactly what you need." Amy registered for the class nervously. The initial day Amy's uneasiness increased as she entered the class, a bright space with yoga mats carefully laid out on the floor, where mothers of all sizes stretched, smiled, and spoke while their children played in a corner watched over by a babysitter. However, the teacher, a happy woman named Jessica, approached with a kind grin. "Hey, Amy, we're so happy you're here. Don't worry, there is no pressure. This class is about moving your body at your own pace." Amy only needed that assurance to secure her place on the mat. Light stretches and breathing exercises kicked off the class, and while Amy first huffed and puffed, unable to balance, she gradually relaxed as she saw other mothers tripping, laughing, and encouraging one another. Amy's innate sense of humor came out when the group transitioned into a dance-inspired aerobic exercise. She made fun of her actions, which made everyone laugh. "Y'all, I look like a chicken trying to cross the road," she exclaimed, and the entire class erupted in laughter. Developing self-belief after a few weeks, Amy began to notice the difference. She couldn't get as tired dragging Glenn's stroller up the porch steps, and she had more stamina to sprint after Gage when he tried to climb the couch. The other mothers in the class became her new friends, bonding over the craziness of raising children, late-night feedings, and the challenges of parenthood. Amy, who had previously felt alone, now had a community of people encouraging her. Amy excitedly shared her progress with Tammy and Chris one evening as they sat on the porch. She chuckled and said, "I'm not saying I'm ready for marathon, but every time I chase Gage, I don't feel like I'm running out of breath." And the best part? I got mom friends now. I told you, girl, you needed this. Look at you. You're glowing, said Tammy, beaming with delight. The major unexpected Amy was anxious because she didn't want to look foolish in front of her boys, but she forgot her worries as the music began. A few months later, the fitness class hosted a family day event where mothers could bring their children to participate in an enjoyable workout. Amy was thrilled to see her children laughing and having fun as little Gage ran around imitating her movements and baby Glenn clapped his hands from the stroller. Amy felt that she was providing her children with a healthy, positive example for the first time in a long time. In conclusion, joining the exercise class was more than simply a health decision for Amy. It was a journey of self-love, confidence, and figuring out her role as a mother. Amy reminded herself and her children that it's never too late to start taking care of yourself at every class. She concluded the family exercise day with a hearty chuckle, as Slaton often does, saying, "Well, you guys, the real win is that even though I'm not skinny yet, I can at least keep up with my babies now." Welcome to my channel, lovely viewers. My name is Mina. I hope you're having a great day. Please remember to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the video.